Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Tonight is episode 89 from me, and I am so excited to bring you my guest this evening. Tonight's guest is going to be the beautiful and talented Caitlin Caporale, and she is from Nashville. And she's a singer, a songwriter who loves posting covers on YouTube and TikTok. In 2015, Caitlin was featured on NBC's hit show, The Voice, on season 8, Team Pharrell. She also had the honor of singing Impossible with the legendary Christina Aguilera. Caitlin is right on time, so I'm going to bring her on in. Guys, thanks for joining us. Hi,
Hey,
How's
nice
your
to
day
see you,
going?
Ashley? Good. How about you?
It's going well. Thank you so much. This is episode 89 for me. And I saw you come in exactly at 7 o'clock. Well, 7 my 6 your time. And I was like, I want to bring you in, but I want to give you the proper introduction.
Thank you. You're so professional. I love your setup with your background. It's so cute.
Thanks. I love your setup because you're like comfy and cozy. I am not. I am on a hard wooden chair, on the couch, chilling with the guitar in the background. So thank you. I appreciate. Yeah, I have like a logo and stuff going on up here.
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So thank you so much for coming on my show this evening. We're going to start out with a song lyric. So I start each show with a song lyric that I share with the artist. You're going to tell me a little bit about this song, what it means to you. And this is a song that you covered.
Okay.
It's called One Step at a Time by Jordin Sparks, 2007. I remember when this song came out. It was awesome. So I am just going to share a couple lyrics from this song, and then you're going to tell me what it means to you. Cool?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, that we find the reasons why, one step at a time.
Great song choice of lyrics, right? Well, I remember watching Jordin Sparks win too. I was a huge American Idol fan. I watched every season. And then, yeah, I mean, that song is for dreamers, especially being a musician. I would say, even with my voice experience, like I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I auditioned for The Voice a few times before and I didn't get through. And then when I finally got through, I realized this was my time to do it. You know, I had to wait to be a better just vocalist, actually just more mature as a person, right? So I feel like one step at a time, waiting for that perfect time to fly and to really step into my own. So I feel like that's how I relate to those lyrics.
Yes, I love that. So, okay, so you tried out for The Voice how many times?
3 times.
What?
And I made it through like the first phase.
Okay.
There's a few phases you have to go to before you actually get to those coaches, right? The celebrity coaches. Yeah. So a few times I auditioned. I made it maybe past the first, second round, and then nothing from there. And then I saw Christina was coming back again to be a coach. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this is my opportunity. You know, I grew up listening to Christina. She was one of my inspirations. So I decided to do it. And the funniest thing about it is the same woman who said no to me ended up saying yes to me.
Yes.
After the 3rd time. And I always tell like younger artists, like I used to teach voice a lot. So I would tell my students, keep trying because maybe it's just not the right time. Keep working at your craft. So yeah, I mean, I auditioned 3 times. I finally got through. And, you know, the greatest part of that was being able to sing with Christina Aguilera, you know, during my blind audition. I'm not sure if you saw that, but.
Oh, I saw it. All right. I mean, like, everyone watching saw that moment. Whoa. I don't even have words to describe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was me either at the time, you know. Well, the funny backstory behind that is, you know, there's only so many contestants that can get through to each coach. I believe the coaches had maybe 16 contestants on each of the 4 coaches teams, which was Pharrell at the time, Christina, Blake, and Adam. And what people don't know is Adam's team was actually full by the time I got there, and same for Christina. Yeah. So I only had 1 slot left on Pharrell's and 1 slot left on Blake's. And but it's when I went out, I was like, all right, at least let's hope somebody turns around. Thankfully, they both did. And I ended up choosing Pharrell. And then Christina, after that, asked me to sing the song with her because I actually sang her song, Impossible. And that was just like a whirlwind. Like, it was just a childhood dream to come true, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's amazing. And the crazy thing about The Voice is you don't know when you step on the stage if you're the first person out there or you're the 47th person out there, right? Because
absolutely.
The thing is, you could have honestly gotten a 4-chair turn, but like you said, 2 of those coaches had full teams. And as you know, watching the audition, she wanted to hit the button for you. And it's got to be weird to be up there singing an artist's song and then you're like, oh my God, they're not turning around. But she was like so about it.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I actually heard her backstage before, you know, cameras were rolling, say that her team was full. So it didn't hit me as hard. At least I knew her team was full. I just heard from backstage with microphones on her saying her team was full. So I was like, okay, that's why she's not going to be turning. Same for Adam. So at least I had a heads up there.
Yeah.
That's just like a behind the scenes little secret that I heard. But no, I mean, it was a wonderful experience, such a great learning experience for me, just to be in front of the camera, to be able to just showcase my voice in front of the world on this huge stage. And it really set me up for where I'm going.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. And the cool thing about it, for those people watching that are not familiar with it, Christina actually sang Impossible with Caitlin. And it was one of those moments where it's like, oh, she's like, sit in my chair. And then you're singing and everyone's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And you're probably like shaking. I can't even.
I know. It was definitely like an outer body type of experience. You know, singing along to her songs in my bedroom as a kid, to be singing with her in her chair, especially sitting in that infamous red chair. It was really, really cool. And I just remembered seeing her up close with her big hair, all of that hairspray and makeup. She was gorgeous. She just had a baby, I remember. And she was super sweet. All of the coaches were great to all of us and really wonderful mentors.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I think you have such a cool blind audition story because you sang one of the judges' song, the judge loved you. Then the judge is like, oh my gosh, but I want to do something special for you. So that's honestly, when I think of all the seasons of The Voices, that's probably one of my favorite blind auditions, just because she reached out to you and she was like, I think you're awesome.
Absolutely. That made everything. It was such a long day, and my sisters were there when I auditioned, so they can attest to this. It was just a very long day, up so early, waiting to audition. And it's so crazy, especially for musicians. You'll understand, anybody watching who does auditions. You wait around all day for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then it's over like that. And it's just so much work that goes into it. But I mean, that's why I do it. I love it. I love to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can tell that you have a passion for singing. Just anytime I've heard you sing, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or, you know, on The Voice, it's just the passion behind your voice. I'm like, oh my gosh, that huge voice comes out of you. And it's so amazing. Even Blake was like, oh my gosh, that came out of her, because they were expecting you to be, you know, look completely different. They're like, oh my God, and you have this huge voice.
I've always gotten that since I was really young, because I'm just like petite. I'm only 5'2".
Oh, you're short.
And yeah, I'm a shorty, but I love it because I get to wear high heels and I'm still not super tall. But no, I mean, I've always gotten that as a kid. And it's funny because Christina Aguilera used to get that as a child. She was super petite too, with this huge voice. So I feel like it all just came to this point that was meant to be, right? To sing with her. And I just feel like watching that, hopefully like little girls at home watching that, seeing that, can say, hey, I could do that too.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge inspiration. So let's start at the very beginning, when music first came into your life. I know you grew up listening to Carole King and Carly Simon. What age did you fall in love with music, and how did that shape your childhood?
Absolutely. So the earliest memory that I have is maybe like 5 years old or so. My parents would put on Shirley Temple movies. I don't know if you remember Shirley Temple. And she would tap dance and sing on the Good Ship Lollipop, and I loved that. So that's like my first earliest memory. And then my sisters would play Mariah Carey. And hearing that, I was like, oh, I love this voice. It's just, I always loved singers that really could sing. And I felt something with it. Like Carole King, Carly Simon, that my mom would play. My mom actually sang too growing up. So that's where I get it from. And my oldest sister sings as well. So no, I mean, I would do talent shows, all the school talent shows, audition for the solos and like the chorus. And that's kind of where I got my feet wet.
Yeah.
And, you know, started competing. And then when I started winning, I was like, okay, well, this could be something that I can do. And, you know, watching American Idol, really American Idol is the one that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And all my favorite singers came from there, like Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson. And that really just put the drive in me.
Yeah.
And then I think around maybe 15 is when I started YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just set up my digital camera back in the day, like on my dresser in my bedroom with my posters on the wall. And I think the first video I ever recorded was Listen by Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the first one I did. And I just loved it. I loved singing. I was getting a great response. And then I started writing. Mm-hmm. And I loved writing originals. And as I got older, as I experienced more things, it was more fun to me to do that than covers. I love covers. You can learn so much from covers, but writing your own original music is where the artistry really comes into play.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really good mix of covers and originals, right? Because if someone hears you do a cover of Justin Bieber, they're like, oh my God, I love this Justin Bieber song, but listening to Caitlin do it, I love it even more.
Absolutely. And I feel like people are more, they'll listen to you more if they hear a cover first.
Right.
I feel like, you know, if they hear something they're familiar with, they'll say, okay, I'm a fan. Now I'll take a chance and listen to something original. Yeah. So that's how I am. I actually remember finding Justin Bieber on YouTube before he was famous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as like a little kid. And I remember just scrolling through. I was like, he's great. I was like, let me subscribe to him. And then he blew up. So I feel like that covers first, and then you gain that trust and that fandom, and then you can go to those originals.
I completely agree with that, right? Because, like, of course you want people to hear your originals, but they need to hear something. They're like, oh my God, yeah, she did this song and I loved it so much. And now she does an original and I love that. And now I'm going to tell people about it. And it's all that word of mouth that comes from the cover as well.
Absolutely. I agree.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe your music?
I would describe my music as, well, I feel like I'm a little bit genreless. I love all types of genres. So I would say soulful pop. Yeah. I'm being here in Nashville now, definitely a little bit of country in there. But country to me is more like the feeling and the lyrics and the story, which I'm really growing to love so much. But I would say it's inspiring. I like to have some sort of inspiration in my lyrics. And something that I could truly relate to, you know? I always love to showcase my voice if I can in the song, because I feel like if you have it, you got to use it. And really, when I'm belting and I'm really using my full range, I feel like me. I feel like my kid self in my bedroom singing. So it's authentic to me, something just real. I love to tell a story. So, I mean, that's a long-winded answer to the question, but I mean, as long as people can relate to it, I'm doing my job, you know?
Yeah, I think passionate storytelling is like the best way to put it, because it doesn't really fit in a genre per se, but like the pop soul country thing, but definitely strong storytelling.
Absolutely.
What's your creative process like?
My creative process, it changes all the time. Lately, it's just a melody, you know, I'll be humming a melody and then put lyrics to it, or I'll just use like the notepad in my iPhone and I'll just write down some lyrics and then I'll put music to it later. But it's always something that I'm going through or something I hear in conversation, right? I'll just be talking and then something will come up and I'll say, hey, that could be a song. Let's write that down, you know? So it kind of isn't, let me sit down and I'm going to write a hit song. It's more what comes to me in the moment. And then I'll sit there and try to go through the whole process. But no, I mean, I just moved to Nashville recently, so I have a new apartment where I have my little studio set up. So I also think the environment you're in inspires you as well.
Definitely. I think environment is so important, right? Like what your apartment looks like, where you go out to dinner. Like you could literally just be leaving your apartment and hear somebody say something and you're like, oh my God, that would be perfect for the next song.
Exactly. Sometimes I'm like eavesdropping on people's conversations at the bar and the table next to me. I'm like, all right, write that down. That could be a hit.
Yeah. Is your note section crazy on your phone?
Oh, I'm running out of space on my phone. For my voice memos, they're crazy. I have like thousands, and I'm not even joking. And my notes, I try to keep it all digital now, because if I did it paper, it would just be crazy. Yeah. I already have journals and journals full from when I was a kid, just writing in. So I try to keep everything digital now.
Yeah, I know, it's so important. And then like you think about your iPhone goes with you everywhere you go. So like you could be out and then you're like, oh, someone just said this, and then you just like record it into your phone.
Right. I always think, imagine that back in the day when you didn't have that and you had an idea, like where would you go to record this? You have to go to a studio to record it. It's so much easier now. We're so lucky to have the technology we do to be able to just instantly lay something down.
Yeah, it really is incredible. So a few of your favorite singers that you mentioned, Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, obviously Christina Aguilera. Mm-hmm. What about these powerhouse female vocalists inspire you?
Well, I feel like they're all naturals.
Definitely.
I feel like they just came up singing, right? I personally never had vocal lessons growing up, and I have nothing against it. I just feel like by not having those and just listening to the artists that I love, I was able to just come into my own, and I didn't feel like I was forced into a certain way of singing. I kind of just did it the way I was meant to do it. I love that they're all naturals, and again, powerhouse vocalists, and just their songs, just seeing them perform live. I've seen all of them perform live. I actually just saw Carrie Underwood like 2 weeks ago at the Grand Ole Opry. Awesome. It was her first show back since COVID too. And it was amazing. She did Jesus Take the Wheel, like one of my favorite songs ever. And it was just incredible. I just love the raw talent. They're all down to earth too. Yeah. Especially Kelly Clarkson. She's like so down to earth. I actually met her on The Voice at the finale. She had performed, and I saw her backstage, and I had to go up to her, and she was the sweetest, probably the sweetest celebrity I ever met, Kelly Clarkson. But no, they just all natural talents. Mm-hmm. That's really what draws me to them.
Yeah, and I love what you said about Kelly Clarkson, because I'm a huge fan of Kelly Clarkson, and I love her talk show, and I watch it all the time.
It's great.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, she is the perfect talk show, because everybody feels like they're her best friend. And I'm like,
exactly. And that's how she makes you feel.
Yeah. And so for you to say like she was the nicest person ever, I'm like, I'm so happy to hear that, because like I feel like it would be that way with anybody that she meets, but I love that she's like that in person.
Completely. It was a pleasure to speak with her, because you hear these things that like these divas, celebrities, and she's huge, but she acts like she's your best friend. She's amazing.
Oh, that's so sweet. So you were on season 8 of The Voice, and you picked Impossible by Christina Aguilera for your blind audition. What made you go with that song?
So actually, I didn't choose it. They choose your songs for you. So you don't get to choose your own song. I actually found out that was the song they chose for me maybe a couple days before. I actually flew out to LA. Thankfully, I knew it, because I'm a Christina fan. But yeah, they get to choose the song. But I think the reason why they chose it was, I'm not sure if you know this story, but I don't even remember the year, but it was maybe 5 years before The Voice. I was out in LA with my sister. It was the first time we went out to California on vacation. And we went to this outdoor shopping center called The Grove. And Extra with Mario Lopez was filming that day. And they were auditioning singers to sing for Christina and her season 1 team of The Voice. They were going to be there and to sing a Christina Aguilera song. So I sang it, and I got through, and I got to sing for Christina 5 years before I actually sang with her. So that was kind of like my backstory, and I feel like they thought that was cool. They wanted to bring it full circle. So I believe that's why they chose it. But I know I'm letting out a voice secret, but they choose it for you. But I was happy with it.
Yeah. And I think it's crazy that they gave you a Christina song when she's a coach, because when I see people up there and they sing a song that one of the coaches sings, it's like, is the coach going to like it? Are they not going to like it? Like, there's a lot of pressure than just singing like
a regular song. Absolutely. And I honestly, if I had to choose a song, I probably wouldn't have chose a Christina song, but I'm glad I did, because it ended up working out. We sang it together. I honestly wouldn't even know what I would choose. So it was kind of nice to have the pressure off me. Like, all right, this is the song you're going to sing, and now I have to make sure I learn it and I nail it.
Definitely. So we said this earlier, Adam and Christina, their teams were full, but Christina really wanted to turn for you. So you had Blake and Pharrell turn. What made you go with Pharrell?
I went with Pharrell because I love R&B soul music.
Yeah.
And I figured Pharrell would be the one to kind of be able to guide me in that type of world. And he also said in there, you know, I'd love to see what you do after the show. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I want to think ahead of what could happen after, not just in this moment. So that's why I chose Pharrell. I love Blake too, and even being out in Nashville now, I'm like, man, maybe I should have chose Blake. But they're both great. I was lucky to have any of those coaches as my mentor.
Yes, I love that. It doesn't I think in the moment you're just kind of freaking out. You're like, oh my gosh, who do I go with? And then the pressure's on you, and you're like, what?
Well, I had it in my mind going in there before who I would choose, which was going to be Christina until you know she was full, and then I figured. After I heard what Blake said about me, I really was so close to choosing Blake. I almost did, and then I decided, you know, last second to go with Pharrell. But like I said, the whole journey was awesome.
Yeah, and you did such a great job on that show because there, like you said, there's people that go to the show and try to get on the show, and they get turned down. There's a lot of incredible singers that they've tried out 1, 2, 3, 6 times, but they still keep going back. And I give you a lot of props for going back and being like, I'm going to get on this show. Like, this happened for me.
I figured, you know, I've been watching these shows since I was maybe like 15. And I was like, I feel like I'm destined to be on one of these shows. Let me try one more time. This is it. If it doesn't work out, I won't do it again. And then it just worked out.
Yeah. And I think that persistence is so important, especially when you talk to other singers or musicians. It's like, okay, that might be a no in that moment from that specific person, but 6 months from now, that person could say yes to you.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that. I was out at a songwriter round in Nashville not long ago, and this hit songwriter was performing, and he said, us musicians, we eat no for breakfast. Like, we hear no all the time, but he was literally a hit songwriter. He tried to bring another song to the famous Bluebird, which is another like venue down here. And they were like, nope, you're not ready. Yet he had a hit song, you know? It's all about perspective. It's all about people's taste. You have to be at the right place at the right time. So I know that. And being older now, I can take a no. You know what I mean? When you're young, you're like 16 and you hear no, you feel like your life is over. Right. But as you get older, you say, okay, you know, it's just not right. I think it's not right now. It's not no. It's just not right now.
Yeah. No, and I think it's one of those things where it's just like, you do have to eat no for breakfast because you might get 50 no's in a row, but that 51st person might be like, yes, it's yes right now.
And it's happened. It's happened to me firsthand. So I know for a fact it's true. So anybody out there who's chasing a dream, whether it be music or, you know, trying to be a doctor, whatever it is, you know, you can do it, and don't take no for an answer.
Yeah, because no, I mean, it's only an issue if you take it personally. But as long as you don't take it personally and say, hey, that's okay if you said no, that person's going to say yes.
Exactly.
What's something that surprised you about your time on The Voice?
That surprised me. What surprised me is the live show wasn't actually live. Well, for my night anyway, it wasn't. Well, Maroon 5 had a concert that night that I went live, so they couldn't go live. They had to tape it earlier in the day, so that was one thing that was surprising to me. I thought everything was going to be taped live. There's months that go by in between some of the tapings. Like for The Blind, I auditioned in November of 2014, and then didn't air until January. I went home, flew back. There was just so much back and forth, and it's not as quick as you think it is. And they're doing multiple seasons at once. Like while we're on, they're auditioning the next season. It's crazy.
Interesting. I didn't realize there was so much time lag in between like The Blinds versus, and that's very interesting when they say live, because they say live and it's like, is it really live?
And another funny story is I remember going out for the battle round and walking out. I had won the battle, and then I was walking off stage to celebrate with my family, and they're like, wait, we have to bring Caitlin back because we actually spelled her name incorrectly on the whatever it is, you know, the thing that has your names listed. And so I had to come out and pretend like I wasn't, like I hadn't won. So I had to just put on a face. And so it's, in the end, like, it's a great show, obviously, but it's a reality show too. You know, it's TV. You have to come in and out for certain takes. It's a lot of work. It's not just, hey, come in here to sing. There's interviews you have to do. I was the oldest person on my team, and I'm not even old. I had like 15, 16-year-olds on the team, so I had to do everything late because, you know, they have to be done by a certain hour because they're younger. So because I was older, I was always the last one in the studio to record, the last one to, you know, do my rehearsals. So that was another thing that you had to get used to. But again, all learning experience.
Yeah. And I like that you're so honest about it, because the thing is, when we watch this on TV, it's all like edited, right? And it's like, it looks a certain way, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Like the people that work on that show and you guys being on this show, there's so much that happens and a lot of footage that just really never even makes it to TV.
Absolutely. I mean, Christina and I sang the whole song together too, of that duet. And for TV, obviously they show maybe 15 seconds. Yeah. I would love to see the full footage, and I wish somebody would send it to me.
I wish they would too.
You know, but for TV, they have to have, you know, it edited. But yeah, there's so much edits that go on that show. Definitely. Any show, honestly.
Yeah. So from a young age, you started posting covers on YouTube, and most recently you're on TikTok. What's one of your favorite songs to perform and why?
One of my favorite songs to perform. I love to perform. There's two that come to mind. Yeah. At Last by Etta James. Yeah. I love that song. And then I love Mary J. Blige's I'm Going Down. I always do that one growing up. Yes. Or if I Ain't Got You, Alicia Keys. Like all those belty, soulful songs. I love those. Those are my go-to. If I'm doing karaoke, I mean, those are the songs I'm singing.
I love it. And great choices too. You actually went with classic female powerhouse vocalists.
I mean, that's literally what I grew up listening to. And I mean, I always gravitate towards that. And that's what I try to put into my own music.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the videos that you've been posting on TikTok and your success on the platform.
Yes. So TikTok, it's funny. I remember because I used to teach vocal lessons, and it was something else it was called before TikTok. I'm trying to remember what it was called before TikTok. But anyway, it was just like a bunch of kids on there, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to join this. And then I kept hearing things about it. Yeah. I was like, let me get on here. And I started to do it by myself, and, you know, I would do it every now and then, maybe like once a month or so. Yeah. And then when I moved to Nashville, my boyfriend Chip, who plays guitar, he's a musician producer too, and where I was like, well, let's do it together. He can accompany me. It's fun when you're doing it with somebody, right? Cool. So we started to do it in February, and, you know, the first out of the gate, I did a Carly Pierce song called Next Girl, and she comments on it, and she was like, yes, girl, I love this. And I was like, all right, well, let's keep going. Yeah. So we were doing like maybe one a day, and, you know, getting a couple hundred views here and there. And then we were like, you know what, let's up it. Let's try to do 3 a day for a year. So wow. I think we're at like 100 videos, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more. I don't know. Yeah. But we've been doing it since maybe like a month ago, the 3 a days. And ever since I've been doing 3 a days, it's skyrocketed. Like we have 3 videos now, I think that have surpassed 100,000 views. Yeah. We're getting like hundreds of followers a day. I think over 6,000 now. So it's all about consistency, I say. And it's fun. Do songs you love. I mean, this algorithm on TikTok is insane. I'll talk about something, and then I go on the app, I scroll, and it's there. What I'm talking about, what I like. So TikTok is really good about helping the viewers see what they want to see. So I feel like it's going to be pushing us out to the right people who want to hear this type of music. And I like to say, like, I'm the human jukebox. I'll do any genre. I'll do country, pop, rock, you know, whatever it may be. And then eventually I'm going to start slipping some originals in there too. But TikTok, if you have it, follow me at Caitlin Caporale, because I'm doing 3 videos a day. And I'd love to take requests too. So any requests that you have, drop those in the comments.
Yes, I love that. I think 3 a day, it sounds like a lot, but it's like, if it's only 15 seconds, right? It can't be that much.
Exactly. And I try to keep it limited. Now, certain songs that I love, I feel like I can't cut them down. Like I won't do 15 seconds. Maybe I'll do 30 seconds of that one. And people's attention spans, let's face it, are, you know, brief. So they're going to just see the first 5 seconds and scroll past. So you have to capture their attention right away, which I've learned. And I also learned I have to do songs that I love, because if I'm enjoying them while singing, then somebody else will enjoy them. If I'm not enjoying it, why should anybody else, you know?
I completely agree. Plus, if you were doing a song that you weren't that crazy about, like, I feel like people could tell and be like, no, she's just doing it just because someone did it. Like, but when you're singing something you love, there's definitely a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. The last one that we had just done was Girl Crush by Little Big Town. Yeah. And that people just love that song, and it's so fun to sing. And like instantly people are just commenting, and I try to reply to everybody and make it unique and thank everybody for their time. And actually just reminded me this morning, I woke up and I'm just scrolling through TikTok, and we had just posted a video last night of 10,000 Hours by Dan and Shay and Justin Bieber. Somebody, a fan, added Dan and Shay, and within like 15 minutes, Dan and Shay comments on the video, and they're like, so good. And I was like, oh my goodness, they comment on our video. And I was so excited. I replied to them. I even shared it on my Instagram, and they hearted it there. I was like, wow, these guys are so sweet and down to earth. And Bobby Bones from Nashville, he's like another radio host. He even said that they're like the sweetest people in country music, which now I know to be true. Yeah. So anybody like who wants to do this, get on TikTok. It's the place to be.
It sounds like, the thing when you said the first TikTok video and Carly Pierce comment, like, wait, what? What just happened here?
Just to get the validation from the artists themselves is awesome. And then just the fans to come in, and I love getting the request. I really like to interact, because I know if I'm a fan and like one of the artists responded to me, I want to do that for other people too. So feel free to comment. I'll be replying to everybody. I make sure to, even if it's a little late, I try to catch up.
Yeah, I think it's so cool when artists comment back to their fans, because, you know, fans are like, maybe they'll do like a bunch of like hearts or whatever. And it's like, just to know that you saw it and you're like, oh, thanks so much, Ash. And then it's like, oh, well, thank you so much, Caitlin, for seeing my comment.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to give back, I feel like, all the time. So I try to do that as much as I can.
Definitely. What artists or genres of music have you been listening to lately?
Well, being in Nashville now, I feel like I've been listening to a lot of country pop. Dan and Shay being one of them. There's so many songs. Kelsey Ballerini, I love. I think she's great. And I mean, there's so much music at our fingertips now these days. Like Apple Music, Spotify. I just remember the day having to hear a song like on the radio and like taping it on your phone. Exactly. And now we can, or just going to the store to buy the CD. Now we can just stream it anywhere. But yeah, a lot of country pop I've been listening to lately. Like I said, Kelsey Ballerini is one of my favorites too.
Mm-hmm. What song do you wish you wrote and why?
That's a good question. What song do I wish I wrote? Let me think on that. Stop me on that one.
So many good ones. I'll give you, like, you know what? You can give me top 5.
Top 5. Okay. I mean, you know which one I covered that I really loved? Mariah Carey's like Fantasy. I love that song. Girl Crush I mentioned before. I mean, the cool story behind that one is they literally just wrote 3 lines to the song. They didn't think anything of it. And then Little Big Town comes in, they hear it, and they say, I want that song. Like, just something that's authentically written, and it just, people gravitate toward. I would love to have written that, Girl Crush, the Mariah one. Even the Dan and Shay one that we just did, 10,000 Hours. I mean, a lot of these songs are conversational now these days. They don't have to be so poetic. So I always try to tell myself when writing the song, like, how would I say this to somebody that I was talking to? And I try to do it that way.
Oh, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. You know, because you start to be so poetic with it. It's great when you can have those kinds of lines in there if they hit you. But also, if somebody's listening to it and they say, hey, like, I could have thought of that. That's when you know you got a hit song. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah, because some of the most popular, successful hits, they don't really have that many lyrics. Like some of them are just kind of, you know, repetitive.
Absolutely. So conversational is key. And I'm definitely learning that being here in Nashville.
Love that. So talk to us about what's next for you. Do you have any live streams, tour dates, collaborations? Talk to us about what's coming up.
Yeah, so I recently just moved to Nashville end of February, early March. Yeah. So I did do my first songwriters round a couple weeks ago. And if nobody knows what that is, it's where songwriters go, they play out with other songwriters on stage. Everybody takes turns and performs their original song. So I just did that for the first time a couple weeks ago at the Commodore. So that was amazing. So more of that to come. I have a lot of traveling that I'm doing this summer. So I'm getting more on the books. So anybody who will be in the area in Nashville who wants to come see, definitely check out my social medias. Pretty much everything's at Caitlin Caporale. So you can find it there. And songwriting, I mean, I do a lot of songwriting every day, whether it be for sync, like a Hallmark movie, like any type of Christmas movie. Like I've written so many Christmas songs in these last couple months. And my own music too. I have to like dedicate the time to do my own artistry. So that I would love to have some of my own music coming out in the fall. So everybody stay tuned for that. But I have my hands in a lot of different pots right now. I feel like you have to do that in this business. So definitely just stay tuned to my pages, because I'll be letting everybody know when shows are happening, when music's coming out. But you can always guarantee that I'll have 3 TikToks a day, at least for the next year.
That's so cool. I love that you're committed to 3.
Yes. And I feel like, I forgot how many days it is, they say, to form a habit. But definitely it's been a habit. I'll wake up, I'm like, I have to do my TikToks today. Otherwise, I feel like, you know, I failed the day.
You did not fail the day. Awesome that you've like committed the 3 a day. Like that's awesome. And for anybody who's watching who is a musician, like you got to step your game up. Like you got to get on Caitlin's level.
Thank you. You know, I just feel like the hard work, when you put it in, it's not going to go unnoticed. Eventually the time will come where it does get noticed. So you just have to put the work in. You can't get down and think, you know, why are these people getting ahead? And that can happen just being on social media, right? You see all these pictures, people doing this and that, but everybody has to go at their own pace, you know, one step at a time, like Jordan Sparks says, and, you know, just do it at your own pace, really put in the work, and then it will come back.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's about the destination, but it's the journey.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, we all want X, right? But it's like, do you want to take all those steps and all those hours? Like, I think it's 10,000 hours to create a habit. I think that's what it is.
Yes. Yep. That's what it is. And I really, truly believe in that. And like I said, as I get older, I notice that even more. And, definitely just put in the work. And you too, I mean, 89 videos doing this show, that's awesome.
Yes, I gotta get on your level though. Like,
you're 3 interviews a day, no less.
I mean, you and I are not direct competition. I'm not a singer, but like, yeah, I think it's all about consistency. It's about like letting people know, like, hey, I'm still a singer. Hey, I'm still doing my show. Like, this is why you need to pay attention, because all this is going on when. People don't go on social media for like 2-3 weeks. It's like, hey, you've missed all of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you'll always find something on the TikTok page.
So you mentioned earlier, you moved to Nashville in February during this crazy global pandemic. What was that like for you?
Yeah, you know what? End of February, it's still, things were shut down, but it was beginning to open up a little bit. My lease was up in New York, and I said, you know what? Now's the time. Let me just do this. Yeah. So I came down, and it definitely was the best decision for me. I've met a lot of songwriter friends, and my craft is just getting better. And I feel like I had to be in Music City. If I wanted to take this seriously, I had to be here to do it. I had to be out at the right, especially like New York was really shut down. It was hard to do anything in New York. I knew things were opening up a bit. I knew songwriters were down here that I can write with. So definitely it was a leap leaving New York. I mean, that's where I grew up. My family is. But I knew I had to do it. And I haven't looked back. It's been a great decision for me.
Yes, I give you mad props. I was telling you earlier, to move to a new city in the middle of a global pandemic, anyone that's done that, I know a couple other musicians who have done the same thing. And I'm like, Yes. I mean, the time was now because, right, your lease was up and you're like, do I stay here or do I just take that leap of faith and do Nashville?
Absolutely. I had to just do it. And like I said, it's been a great decision for me. And now that I'm starting to play out, it's just enjoying the city. If anybody who hasn't been in Nashville, definitely come. It's
Mhm.
amazing. It's just getting bigger and bigger by
Yeah.
the day. I feel like I just see new buildings everywhere. There's always a fun place to go, to eat, to get coffee, perform. Always live music, which I love.
Yeah. So what's something you're looking forward to do in Nashville?
I would love to play the listening room
Hmm.
in Nashville. That's like one of my goals. It's on my vision board. So if I keep putting the work, I know it will happen. So I definitely want to do that. The Commodore is where I played so far. So I would love to do the listening room, Belcourt Taps. There's a lot of cool places. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, is playing some of these bigger venues and
Yeah.
and just meeting more songwriters. It's been so nice to connect with people in person.
Hmm. Oh my
And
goodness.
because during COVID, I did a lot of virtual writes. Like we would write songs virtually, which was great. I'm so thankful we had that. But it's been nice to actually be with people.
Oh my gosh, I know. I actually just went to a show earlier before we hopped on this live, and I went up to the vocalist and I said, "Hey, I have this show on Instagram Live. You should do it." And it's so weird because I'm so used to like messaging people and emailing.
Yeah,
Like it's so weird to like meet some of my musicians face to face and be like, "Hey, come on my show." I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
yeah.
I'm so used to
Right?
virtual.
It's like online dating, and then you meet somebody in person, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what?
No, but I mean, like I said, it's so nice to have the virtual thing. You know what
Right.
I mean? I mean, we get to do this, so it's awesome.
Definitely. What's the best advice that you've been given?
Best advice I've been given. I mean, I guess it would just be to not give up. I mean, I know that's just everybody hears that, but it's so true. And I mean, like I said, the 3 times I auditioned for The Voice, not even counting the multiple times I did American Idol, X Factor, all of these different things, is to just don't listen to what other people say, especially because they might not people who aren't in the music industry are not going to understand the dream
Yeah.
that you have. I feel like artists are just, something is inside of them when they're born to do this type of work, and it's not easy. You get a lot of rejection. You can't just go to school, pass a test, and now I'm have this profession. This is nonstop hustle every day. So anybody out there, just keep staying positive.
Yeah.
Try to keep out that negativity, stay focused, and that's probably the best advice I've ever been given.
I think that's so awesome. Now, you said vision board. Do you actually have a physical vision board?
I do have a vision
You
board.
do. So, do you
I
have a thing near New Year's where you actually do it, or like, how do you have you done several of them in the past, or what's? I'm never.
I've done a few. I've done a few. I do need to do a new one. I was actually just talking about this, but my original one had Nashville on it, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
I didn't have Christina on mine, but that would have been a great one. My new one has Carrie Underwood on it, so maybe something will happen with Carrie.
Oh,
But
yes.
whether it be like places to travel, whether it be my career, personal life, I definitely recommend people make one if you haven't made one already. They're super fun. You can do it with friends, have a wine night, create your vision board.
Yeah. Now, do you keep your old ones, or?
I keep them. I don't know what other people do. I keep them up. Just I like to look at them every day. At least start the morning with looking at them, and just keep that mindset. And whenever you're feeling down or you feel like it's, just look at it again, remind yourself this is what you're working towards, and keep that focus. We're I like the comment down here, where focus goes, energy flows. That's a good
Yes, I see
one.
that. Yes, physical pictures work brilliantly. Yes,
Yeah,
because when you visualize it, you're like, oh, yes, like maybe you had the photo of Nashville, or maybe you just had Nashville. So, yeah, definitely, I completely agree.
absolutely.
So, tell everybody in the chat already where they can find you on all your social media platforms.
Yes. So, I mean, I have my official website, CaitlinCaporale.com. And if you don't know how to spell my name, because Caitlin's spelled a million different ways, just check it right here. And then, I mean, I'm on Instagram at Caitlin Caporale. I think the only one that's different might be YouTube, Caitlin Caporale 23. Otherwise, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, my official website. You can find me anywhere there. Follow me, comment, I'll follow you back. Like I said, I love to talk to everybody on these platforms.
Yes, I love it too. It's so amazing when musicians can see your comment, and like I said earlier, they comment back. That's so cool.
Definitely. I love to do it because it's been done to me, and I know how excited I get when one of these, you know, celebrities notices that I've covered their song. You know, it's just like, hey, I'm on the right path. If they're noticing it, I know I'm on the right path. I'm going to keep going. Yeah. Maybe I'll do 6 videos a day. Who knows?
Hey, I'm sure you could do that. Like, I have full faith in you that you would do that, Caitlin.
You know what? Never say never.
Definitely. So for everybody watching right now, how can they support you as a musician?
Yeah, I mean, really just a follow is huge. Sharing any of my videos, you know, just sharing it with your fans, your friends and family, because then they could share it and it can just spiral on. So honestly, just commenting, sharing, liking, following, that is like the best way to do it. And of course, when I'm on playing my shows, come out and support. We'll get a picture, you know. So I feel like that's the best way. Social media, let's all connect here.
Yes, and please, like, comment, share with your friends, buy tickets, like, support in any way that you can.
Yeah, share Ashley's page here too, Ashley Live, right?
Yes, this is episode 89. I can't believe you're 89. Like, this just is
That's amazing. You got to do something big for the 100th.
I know. Everyone's like, what are you doing for 100? I'm like, that's a couple interviews away, but will be planned. So thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That's all the questions I have for you this evening, but you're going to perform for us.
Yes, so I'm going to perform 2 songs, both originals. I wrote them with my co-writers, Marika and Aaron, and my boyfriend Chip is going to be accompanying me on guitar. So I have 2 of those. The first one is called Home Run, and the second song is called Forged in Fire. So these have not been released, so you guys are going to be one of the first people to hear it. So yeah, here we go. Here's Chip.
Yeah, we'll hop in.
All right, let me get up here. This is our little TikTok spot too. So if you recognize the background.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I was tired of dead ends and begging to kill mistakes. I was holding out for the perfect guy. Now I realize why it took some time. Life threw a few colors, but I don't regret it. 'Cause all the misses led to you, Jimmy. You're like nothing I ever knew. You're my greatest fan. Lucky me, I hit a grand slam. Yeah, you're always good about for me. Never question my integrity. Always wanna run home. 'Cause baby, you're my home run. Yeah. It's all the sweet things you do that I keep it for you. I never had anyone put me first. You see me, I'm my best. You love me, I'm the worst. It was worth the wait. Must have been fate. 'Cause all the misses led to you. Jimmy, you're like nothing I ever knew. You're my greatest fan. Lucky me, I hit a grand slam. You're always gonna bat for me. Never question my integrity. Always wanna run home. 'Cause baby, you're my home run. 'Cause all the misses led to you, Jimmy. You're like nothing I ever knew. You're my greatest fan. Lucky me, I hit a grand slam. Yeah, you're always gonna bat for me. Never question my integrity. Always wanna run home. 'Cause baby,
Yes. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. The chat is blowing up. Like I have to actually.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Hi, Mark. Hi, Tay.
Graham.
Grace. Steffi. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right. So this next one is called Forged in Fire. Mama always said I danced to my own drum. Tomboy in blue jeans, never the prom queen. She said it don't matter if boys don't notice. Yeah, gotta love who you are, don't you forget. You were made priceless, good kind of different. Forged in fire, born to inspire. Every kind of woman trying to find a way. Have a little faith, don't make it through. Forged in fire. Anyone put out the Now I'm a little older, getting wiser. A few heartbreaks, learning from my mistakes. Yeah, it's funny how you see the world differently when you get caught up in society. Strength comes from within, gotta love your own skin. Forged in fire, born to inspire. Every kind of woman trying to find a way. Have a little faith, make it through. Forged in fire. Anyone put out the flame. Ooh, yeah. You've got a spark that you'll never lose. So let it start a flame in you. Forged in fire, born to inspire. Every kind of woman trying to find a way. Have a little faith, make it through. Forged in fire. Anyone put out your flame.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Chip.
Thank you guys. So Grace said something so sweet, and I just want to tell you. So Grace said, "Nice guitar playing, Chip. Caitlin, your voice is beyond inspirational."
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, Grace. I've seen your comments all through this chat. So thank you, Grace. Tay, Graham, thank you guys so much for your comments and your emojis. Guys, this is the part of the show where if you have any questions for Caitlin, feel free to put them in the comment section below.
Yeah. Bring it on. Also, requests for TikTok. Feel free to let me know in the comments.
Yes. Yes.
I recognize some of these names. Definitely some dedicated fans that tune into my stuff. So I appreciate you guys coming over here to Ashley Live.
Yes. Yes. Thank you guys for supporting Caitlin. Thank you for supporting the show. But please feel free if you have questions. Caitlin and I are live right now, so give it to us. We're ready.
Yeah, come on, guys. Hit me with some questions.
What inspired you to sing?
Inspired me to sing. It's just like the musicians I've heard. But honestly, the first memory, like I said before, is Shirley Temple. Watching her in these old movies. I'm like an old soul. I love Shirley Temple, like Frank Sinatra. All of those. I Love Lucy. Like my mom had us growing up watching that. So I'm like an old soul. But definitely Shirley Temple inspired me to sing.
I love that though. Shirley, you singing good ship.
I had the little curls too, and I tap dance.
Yes. Tay wants to know any date for a single or Christmas song.
So Christmas songs, I have tons of Christmas songs. I'm also working on originals. I would love to have a single out by the fall. I don't have a specific date, but fall is like my target. So like I said, stay tuned on my social medias.
Definitely. Chris says, #1 fan here.
Chris is actually my brother.
Oh, so he's definitely your #1.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Love you, bro.
What hidden talents do you have? Grace wants to know.
Actually, that's a funny question. I hula hoop. I'm a really good hula hooper. When I was younger, we used to go to car shows with my dad, and I'd get bored just walking around looking at cars. But they would have hula hoop contests, and my brother and I actually got really good at it. So hula hooping is one of my hidden talents.
Oh, that's so cool. Ration Mind 78 wants to know the first album you purchased.
Oh, I don't even know. It might not even have been an album. It could have been like a cassette tape, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's see. I remember getting, maybe not the first one, but I remember getting Avril Lavigne's album. Her very first album with Complicated on it. I forgot what it was called, but that's one of them I remember buying.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie says, can you sing one of the Shirley songs?
I think all I remember is like, on a good ship, lollipop, something. I don't remember how the rest of the words go, but something like that.
I know. It's like, do we even know any other Shirley Temple songs?
That's literally all I remember, on the good ship, lollipops.
Grace wants to know your favorite concert you have been to.
Favorite concert? I've been to quite a few. The one that sticks out is actually Kelly Clarkson. I saw her at Jones Beach Theater with my mom. That was probably one of my favorites. I also saw JoJo in New York City. JoJo's like one of my favorite singers. I saw her. I'd say those two are definitely up on top.
Did you see JoJo at Irving Plaza?
Not Irving Plaza. I think we might have saw her at Webster Hall.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we might have saw her there.
She is so amazing.
So amazing. I love her. She's definitely one of my inspirations too.
Definitely. Where do you see your career in 5 years?
Well, that's a good question. In 5 years, I would love to have had a hit song, win a Grammy, have toured a lot, still touring.
Yeah.
And maybe have some songs in some movies. I always want to have my hands in different pots here, especially in the music industry. But 5 years, I would like to see myself win a Grammy. I'm looking at the big picture.
Yes, I love that. That is definitely going to happen. You put that on your vision board, it's happening.
It's on there. The Grammy's on there. Sixth grade, I remember I won they voted as most likely to win a Grammy Award. So
yeah,
I'm manifesting it.
I mean, if they already voted you for it these years ago, this is going to happen. Awesome. So Caitlin, do you have any final words for the room?
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Ashley, for having me. It's been really fun. And like I said, besides like a couple of weeks ago, I hadn't performed live in front of people in like a year. So it was so nice to be back, and it's great to do it here too. It's still so much fun, especially like people who can't see me live. Right. They can see it here. So that's wonderful. I just really appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope everybody has a great 4th of July coming up. I'm excited. I'm actually going back to Boston for the 4th of July. So it will be nice. I'll be on the East Coast.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching tonight and giving all these great questions and supporting Caitlin. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Caitlin on all social media, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music, everything she said earlier. Please give her a follow. Support the music, everything else. I mean, share the music with everybody that you know. And when those tour dates come out, buy the tickets. Support. It's extremely important to support good music.
Thank you. I really appreciate you giving us this platform for musicians. It's amazing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope to be back again soon.
Oh my gosh, you can come back anytime you want. Come back anytime you want. We just make it happen, and you will get my calendar, okay?
Sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Follow Caitlin and follow Ashley Live. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.